It's early January. The NFL regular season is finished. Your fantasy seasons are done. And now we're on the road to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58. We are about to figure out and predict who is going to start their road to the Super Bowl and ultimately win a championship. I got Hayden now there with me to preview Super Wildcard Weekend. What's up, Hayden?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, great. It's great to see you, man. It really is. But we did it, Hayden. NFL season's done. Neither of our teams are in it this year, but at
Doctors.
least we got something to. No dogs in the fight to worry about, man.
Nope.
Hey, but how about this, Hayden? Are both our teams won though in Week 18 at least?
Yeah,
Take that, right?
we ended the season well. At least we can do that at least. So
You find your team finally beat the Patriots. Finally.
finally, but doesn't take away the sting of this stuff. So
Yeah, it helped you get, and it
it
helped
helps.
them get a
It helped
third
me
overall
sleep at.
pick.
It helped me sleep at night a little bit, but still have to get the quarterback and everything, and not the quarterback. We have to make sure the team plays well around Rodgers. So
Yeah, well, at least we could take a little bit of a break from then. But I hope your favorite GM is starting to work already.
oh God, he's trying. So I'm not going to comment too much on them right now, but
All good. And as for the Giants, now we have some controversy in ourselves. Looks like the end of week Wink Martindale. It seems like a
well,
personality clash.
you have a coach who does things only his way, and when you don't have a roster of established veterans, like there's certain rosters you have, like Kansas City Chiefs, they have established veterans with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. They have established DC. Like you could kind of do things your way if you're Andy Reid. Like Brian Dable has not gotten up to that point. I mean, last year he had a miracle season because the team played well last year. And now he thinks he's all of a sudden God, and he's going to try to make it the Patriot way, which obviously a lot of people won't want to have that. And he's a little bit of an idiot for doing that, in my opinion.
I don't think you're wrong. It's hard. It's a debate worth reflecting on, especially the Joe Shea, Brian Dable factor. And it looks like their third year, they're really quote unquote started with their own guys. It is disappointing to not have Wink, one of the better coordinators in the league.
He wasn't happy that Dable wasn't happy the defense was outperforming the offense, considering Dable's an offensive guy, and the whole situation reeks entitlement from someone who, in my opinion, doesn't deserve it. So,
Mm-hmm. And you would say that is that Dable still needs some more experience, if you will, to get
I mean,
that.
he has a bad year next year. He's gone. Like they're not keeping him after next year. If they have a bad year, like I said, Joe Shane's gonna do something drastic.
That Nick Sirianni theory you made last week kind of looks like has some ground to it with this loss, and I'm sure we'll get into it once we
Yeah,
actually
no,
cover that game.
that's it's a possibility.
Well, it should be interesting, but now we're going to talk about 12 franchises who did it right this year, 12 franchises who are in the playoffs. Some we expected, some surprises. Well, why don't we just break it down right away? Let us begin our coverage of the postseason and let us start this journey for Super Wildcard Weekend. So here we go, Hayden. You and me. Let us break down these games once and for all. So why don't we first start with Saturday, January 13th, the first playoff game of the postseason. We have the 11-6 Cleveland Browns taking on the 10-7 Houston Texans. We have a wild card winner and a division winner. The Houston Texans were the ones to prevail. And the spread in this game goes to Cleveland on the road at -2.5. Initial thoughts on this game, Hayden. Who do
I
you
mean,
think can run away with it?
it's going to be a tough game for either team. I mean, Houston has some momentum off the fact that they just won the division title. 10-7, credit to D'Amico Ryans, who should be in head coaching year consideration. CJ Stroud should be offensive rookie. They've done a lot of great things this year with Singletary. They can run the ball. The defense has played well towards the end of the season. So that's a huge plus. I mean, but you're also facing a team in Cleveland that has one of the best defenses in the entire league. So going to be a challenge. This is a team that has already beaten the 49ers without, they beat the 49ers without their quarterback. They beat the 49ers with PJ Walker. The Colts with PJ Walker, who are a wild card team. They've been very battle tested. They beat Pittsburgh as a playoff team. They already beat Houston early in the year, 36-22 at home. So they have familiarity with the building. I'm going to go in this game. I think Cleveland will win this game. I do. I think Cleveland's a better team. They have more weapons. I don't love the fact how much they throw with Joe Flacco. I think that's going to cost them in the divisional round. But versus Houston, I think they should be able to win this game. Their defense should be able to stop C.J. Stroud a little bit enough. C.J. Stroud is a quarterback that can be contained. We've seen it versus the Jets. Jets contained him. The Jets completely shut him down, actually. So this is a quarterback that can be contained. I would take probably – I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, actually. I think it's going to be like 23-13. I don't see a lot of points. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, actually. I just feel like it's going to be a little bit more defensive game. To me, I think Cleveland's the better team, but Houston is coming in with some momentum, so it should be a good game. I just don't love Houston in this game. I think I just don't love the Texans. I think they're a little bit depleted. Nico Collins is their only real weapon at the offensive side. I mean, the coaching is pretty even. DeMeco Ryans and Kevin Stefanski are two really good coaches, so it's kind of pretty even. But I think they can run the ball a little bit more. Slightly more, I guess you could say, the Browns, because Jerome Ford's a little bit more of a pass catcher, so he can do a little bit more than Devin Singletary right now. Even though the stats are almost identical. So I'm going to Cleveland in this game, but we'll see.
All right, good stuff. So with that 40, the over-under of this game is 45.5. So you would probably go under on this one.
Yeah, I'm going under on this one, yeah.
Yes. So I'm actually agree with you as well, Hayden. Though Houston's playing with house money, what an incredible story, and especially the way they got there. And unfortunate how the Jacksonville Jaguars had a very bad game against Tennessee last week to put him in this position. And they got the win against Indy. If only that backup quarterback made the catch, it might be a different story. But ultimately, Houston prevails. And this is a result of the Houston Texans getting in. Though at the end of the day, with this great team, they are missing one of their top receivers. They're playing the very best defense in the league, led by Myles Garrett. And with
I didn't even talk about Myles Garrett and that they have one of the best pass rushers in the league, and with Denzel Ward too. They have a lot of good players.
And then we have you have Houston playing. You have Houston played so well, but with the rise in Njoku, as you mentioned, as a awesome threat for Joe Flacco, with, as you also mentioned, the running back by committee and Kareem Hunt, Jerome Ford. They are a tough team to stop. I think that is a generous spread at -2.5. And though Houston was a lot of fun this year, I think this miraculous first season will come to a graceful end, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see them often here in this position for years to come. So give me Cleveland -2.5, and they shall move on to the division round with the led by your coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. So next, moving on, we have the Miami. I was about to say Miami Heat. So next Saturday night, your Peacock exclusive game. You have the 11-6 Miami Dolphins taking on the 11-6 Kansas City Chiefs. We have a team that clinched a playoff berth versus the AFC West champions and your reigning Super Bowl champions. Right now, the spread is -4, 4 full points for the Kansas City Chiefs, and your over/under here is 43.5. Hayden, we had Miami blow it against the Buffalo Bills to get in this position. They lost another important pass rusher in Bradley Chubb. And And now they are going from the beautiful state of South Florida all the way to Kansas City, where it's projected to be 0 degrees. So here we go. We have Miami versus Kansas City. What's going to happen here?
This is a tough matchup for me to personally predict. I kind of if I'm just going based off rosters, you should take Miami in this game personally. I think Miami's better. I really do honestly think Miami's a better team. But that being said, this is a team from Miami going to Kansas City, and Tua Tagovailoa is not great in cold weather. That's been on the record. You got to figure with Tyreek Hill, maybe he wants to prove something against Kansas City. Raheem Mostert and HN are really good backs. But that being said, they're not necessarily gritty, like in the tackles type of backs. So, and in a game like this, when it's cold and you need like 3 yards and it's going to be a defensive game, because I think it is, might favor Kansas City. Their styles might favor Kansas City. I'm going to go with Miami just based on the roster. I think Miami's a better team. I do, honestly. I think they have a little bit more on offense. I think right now, I think this season, I hate to say this, people are going to go crazy on me. This season, I think Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes this season. So
Those are some bold words.
I'm gonna take Tua. I'm gonna take Miami in this game. I'm gonna take them 23-20. I think they're gonna win on last second kick.
Hayden, I'm actually gonna go to the opposite. I think you go with Kansas City at -4, and this is
listen. It's hard picking against Kansas City at home in the playoffs.
Yes, and I make my choice based on the injuries on defense for Miami, transferring to the extremely cold environment, which they are not used to for obvious reasons. And despite Kansas City's offensive issues, especially with their wide receivers, I just don't see them. I see them being able to take care of Miami handily. If Miami was fully healthy, it would be a different story. But I'm going to go with Kansas City on this because they have the advantage at home. And though I think this might be their only win of this postseason, I think Miami will have a difficult time. I would prefer Miami to win, but I'm going to go with my gut on this one with Kansas City.
I mean, this game screams Kansas City.
Yeah.
It screams Kansas City. Like everything about it says pick the Chiefs. But I mean, I'm just gonna go based on talent. I think Miami's the better team. Like I really do believe that. Can Mahomes make enough plays? We'll see. I think the biggest problem in this game would be Miami's defense, like you kind of said. But that being said, do they really have any like game changers? Really, like I mean, besides Travis Kelce, I don't see another game changer like from Kansas City. Whereas Miami
Not at
does
all. And
have
this is why I
guys.
think their run is going to end after next week. You know, this is Tua's first playoff game as well, I believe, right?
This is to yes. Last year they had Skylar Thompson in versus Buffalo, and like someone else was saying to me, if they could play last year versus Buffalo and almost beat them at Buffalo with Skylar Thompson, you got to figure they're going to play better with Tua Tagovailoa this year.
That does make a valid point and shows how good of a coach Mike McCarthy is. But
You mean Mike
ultimately,
McDaniel?
sorry, Mike McDaniels. Yes, Mike McDaniels. Um, Curious, what do you think about Peacock making this an exclusive game for the first time? You are paying for an NFL playoff game on a paywall.
It's ridiculous. I don't. I have no comment. It's bullshit. I don't want to deal with it. It's bullshit. Especially what the MLB is saying. What the MLB is doing, and I don't get why they use peacocks.
It is a shame, especially for, listen, I know you and I are in a generation where streaming services and technology is a little easier to grasp than us, but there's a whole other world out there that are going to miss out. I mean, unless you live in Kansas City, the greater Kansas City and my South Florida area, you're going to miss it. You're going to have to pay for it. And I could debate all the day about this, but this is a very greedy and disappointing move by the NFL for this. Is what it is, I guess. But regardless, it should be an interesting game. We have Tyreek Hill returning to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This would be his second game, I believe, since the trade. They played last year. And That should be fun, and hopefully he stays healthy during it as well. All right. Moving on, let's talk about the Sunday games. Let's start right away, right here, right now. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were able to sneak into the playoffs, and they're playing the Buffalo Bills, who get the 2 seed in this one. So the AFC East champs versus the team that got in by playoff berth. Buffalo opening at a steep -10. They are 10-point favorites here. The over-under is only 36.5, so they don't expect a lot of scoring here. Hayden, this is quite a spread. What do you think about the Steelers and Bills?
Oh, I think this game's going to go over, actually, 36.5.
Yes.
At Buffalo, with Josh Allen and Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, it's going to be an over game. I don't know. For me personally, I think it's going to be a close. I think this is going to be a shootout, actually. Buffalo's hurt defensively. Pittsburgh, I mean, TJ Watt isn't playing. Like, this is going to be a 30-20 game. Like, I think Buffalo's going to be 30-20. I think they will move the ball a little bit with Mason Rudolph. Deontay Johnson or George Pickens are going to have one or two big plays like they always do. They have like a long touchdown. And, I think Pittsburgh will keep it close, but I think Buffalo's offense is just too much in this game. I like the way they've been able to run the ball with James Cook. Like I said, they're hurting a little bit defensively, but they should be able to score enough points on Pittsburgh, who has a very good defense, by the way. But with Cook, Stephon Diggs, I want to say I'm not sure if Gabe Davis is playing. Actually, I'm going to check that up. But I mean, they have more than enough playmaking. I like their tight ends too. For Buffalo,
To answer your question, Gabe Davis at the moment is questionable.
Okay, he's questionable. So let's say Gabe Davis does play. That's another threat they have. And just like I said, I think Buffalo is my pick to make the Super Bowl this year, actually. So I'm taking them to get past Pittsburgh, 30-20. I think the over under for that game is, I don't know how that they got the number so low, because I do not think it's going to be that low scoring game. I don't.
Yeah, at this moment, it is looking like it's snowing. At this moment, they have the game time. I guess that might be a factor.
36.5, you said the number was? Oh, that's low. That's really low.
Yeah. So that's right really now,
I have almost 50 points being scored in that game, so I'm going over.
So Orchard Park, we have at this moment 24 degrees, very windy, colder with snow, with a 96% chance of
but Buffalo's used to that, so it's like, I mean, these are two cold weather teams, so it's not like Miami or Jacksonville or Tampa. Like they're used to this weather, so it's like I don't necessarily think that's, Yeah,
to branch off this should be an easy win for the Buffalo Bills. I commend the Steelers for getting themselves in this position, but Buffalo 7-2 at home, as you mentioned, they are very adept to these conditions. They've won their last 5 games against some very hard opponents as well. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Cowboys, they beat Miami when it mattered the most, and Steelers are an inferior team, especially missing their best defensive player. So, and they're playing their second string quarterback.
I will say, I want to say they're like 7-8. They're like 7-1 in their last 8 games versus Baltimore. If you have to play, if they somehow get past the Buffalo Bills, and let's say they play Baltimore in the first round, watch out. That could be a huge upset, because Pittsburgh has Baltimore's number. They're division rivals. That would probably be a one-score game between those two teams. So Baltimore better watch out. Baltimore better watch out if Pittsburgh beats Buffalo.
And do you think the Steelers can at least close on the 10-point spread? Yeah, I think Buffalo could get.
I mean, I have them 30-20, so I think it's gonna be a push.
Great.
But the only reason I think it's gonna be a push is because I think they're gonna get a touchdown with like a minute or two to go. Like I think it's gonna be less than 10 points the whole game. I think it's gonna be close throughout, but Buffalo will just manage to get that one score to win the game.
I hear that.
It will be like 23-20, and then they could stop them for a field goal, make 26-20, and then they get that touchdown. That's what I think the game's gonna be.
I would love to see that happen. All right, let's talk about the 4:30 game on Sunday. We have the 9-8 Green Bay Packers playing the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is opening at -7.5. Jordan Love and company with a magical season. Do you see them upsetting the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys at all?
No, I don't. I think they're a little too young. I kind of like their receivers actually. Jaden Reed,
Christian Watson
um,
is very good.
Christian Watson's very good. Romeo Dobbs.
Aaron
Um,
Jones has been good since coming back
they
from
have
injury
another
too.
receiver too that's been really good recently. Just getting his name. I want to say it was like Bo something. Get his name. Bo
Yeah,
Melton. Yeah, Bo Melton from Green Bay has been pretty good. Their young receivers are looking pretty good. They have a good receiving. They have a good young receiving core. Aaron Jones is starting to run the ball a little bit.
mhm.
Jordan Love has really come on. He's been awesome. Credit to him. But I mean, that being said, I think I don't want to say this is Dallas's year, but I think Dallas will win this game pretty handily. Like I don't see Green Bay covering the spread. I think this is gonna be like 37-23. No, 37-23 is high. We're gonna go 30-17 Dallas here in
Yeah,
this game.
in this particular season, Hayden, the Dallas Cowboys have been almost lethal at
No,
home.
they've been lethal at home.
They're
So I mean,
undefeated at a 8-0. Everybody's healthy for the most part.
I mean,
You
wouldn't that
might.
be wouldn't that be a treat if we get that the Green Bay we get not the Green Bay the Dallas Detroit game again in the divisional round? That'd be a
I
treat.
I seriously hope so. I
That was some
actually
game
think
when they played them.
Dallas has the best momentum coming into the postseason here, even with San Francisco banged up a little bit, and they are very lucky to have this first round bye. But I think Dallas, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Dallas in the championship game for the first time since '95. This team is great on offense, great on defense. Dak has had his best season yet.
I
And
mean,
again, similarly with the Houston Texans on a special season playing with house money, I think the NFC equivalent is the Green Bay Packers.
we shall see because I mean Dallas could always pull one of their usual you know um choke jobs. So we'll see. I mean, if Dallas plays to their potential, they should win this game.
Definitely, Bo. Definitely. I think they should be easily. That's a spread. I think they can easily
I don't want to
cover
say it's
with
going
no
to be an easy
problem.
game because Jordan Love is, he's been playing awesome. Like I'm not trying to disparage Jordan Love.
No doubt, but I think the Dallas secondary, who's been a big asset for them this year, I think that they will be able to hold down and not give a lot of separation for the Green Bay Packers offense, though impressive for sure. They just have a lot to build on, and with Mike LaFleur's team there. But Mike McCarthy, and I think there were the rumblings that he really needs to make a deep run in the playoffs to keep his job. It seems that this Cowboys team likes playing for him, and that extra motivation might, put them over the edge. Then this is definitely prime time discussion here, Hayden. You have, what was it? Well, I should start. What was it? 2021. There was a trade that sent
Yep,
Jared
they
Goff to.
trade. The trade out was it? It was after the 2020 season. So
Yes.
the 2021 trade at the beginning of the season sent Jared Goff to the Detroit Lions, and then sent Matthew Stafford to the Rams. That
Arguably, you could say one of the best trades of all time.
I mean, it's worked out great for both teams. You got a quarterback who's made Pro Bowls for both teams, actually, for the Rams and the Lions, and Jared Goff, who's been awesome. Took them to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff was a great quarterback for the Rams. So I mean, let's make that clear. But they wanted to move on. They wanted to get Matthew Stafford, who then in turn took the Rams to their first ever Super Bowl and won it. So that had immediate dividends. Trade's been great for both teams. 3 years in, Jared Goff reinvigorated the Lions, have them won their first division title since '93. Matthew Stafford has won a Super Bowl and is now playing in his second time in the playoffs for the Rams. It's been a great deal overall for both teams, and hats off to both
Exactly.
hats off for both GMs for making that deal. Like it really worked out well.
Absolutely. And it now comes to this. They are playing each other in the NFL postseason. We have the Los Angeles Rams going to Detroit, and 8 o'clock NBC Sunday night. We have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Detroit Lions. The Lions are opening at -3 points in this very intriguing matchup, Hayden. Who do you think has the edge?
Boy, this is a really, really tough game to predict.
I could start first in that case.
Yeah, you can start. You can start first. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Rams getting the upset plus 3 on this one. I think they have a lot of momentum right now. They've won 4 out of the last 5 on a 4-game winning streak. They have arguably the best. They have some of the best weapons in the entire postseason, with the exception of maybe the 49ers. Kieran Williams is healthy. They have obviously Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, who has turned into a sensation this season. They still have a very good defense led by Aaron Donald. And I just think, despite Detroit themselves having some momentum and they've played well down the stretch, I think it's just going to be a tough task. And I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to give the edge to the Rams, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went on a walk-off field goal on this one. So it's going to be probably an emotional game, but I see Matthew Stafford beating his old team to have the Rams advance.
Yeah. I'm kind of going on this one. I'm kind of gonna go. I'm going on this one. I'm going the Rams too in this one actually. Every year there's got to be a big upset. Um, and yeah, I think this is probably the most probable one that I think is going to happen. The Rams. So I'm taking the Rams too. Actually, I think they'll be able to stretch the field with Puka Nacua. Matthew Stafford's playing great. Kyron Williams, they can really run the ball. Um, they are the team, in my opinion, that has the most that can actually handle the. They can actually handle the most with the Detroit Lions. And trust me, if they beat the Lions, they're gonna beat the 49ers too. That's just my
I
pick. That's
think
my
so. I
prediction.
think so. And
I think the 49 I don't see the 49ers making it this year to the Super Bowl. I don't. I don't know. Something my gut feeling is telling me that this team with Purdy is a little they're a little inconsistent. I don't see it this year. I
even
don't.
healthy, huh?
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost for the conference championship game actually. So like I'm telling you right now, the Rams beating the I think the Rams are going to win this game versus Detroit, and then I think they're going to beat San Francisco. San Francisco.
That's right, Hayden. That's right. We could definitely explore that once the San Francisco 49ers has their opponent next week. But I do see this game being, I might even go as far to say, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if this game wound up being a classic. I'll say that. So let's break down our final game and wrap it up for today. Monday night, your second ever Monday night football playoff matchup. You have the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on, sorry, let me restart that. You have your reigning NFC champion and sorry. You have your reigning NFC champion and current NFC East division champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on.
They were the wild card, the Eagles.
Oh yes, you're right.
The
You're right.
Dallas won the division.
My brain is all over the place. So let me restart one more time. You have a wild card winner, Philadelphia Eagles taking on the NFC South champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At this moment, we have the Philadelphia Eagles opening at -3. Hayden, you have obviously a team in disarray, a team that has been crumbling, a team that is quite frankly been a mess, going up against a Buccaneers team that has won 4 out of their last 5. They seem to have found a rejuvenated Baker Mayfield, and you have 2 teams going in 2 different directions finally meeting here in the postseason. And tell me, Hayden, what do you think is going to happen?
I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this game. I do actually at home. I think that quite frankly, I don't think Philadelphia could beat many teams in the league, but let alone playoff teams right now the way they're playing.
Yeah.
They've been awful, the Philadelphia Eagles. That defense is getting beat up like crazy. This is very similar to what the 2020 Steelers were when they started off like 10-1 and then they ended up imploding. Very, very similar to me. So I'm gonna take the Bucks in a shootout, actually. I'm gonna go like not a shootout, 28-27 Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to win on like a last second field goal. I'm taking the Bucks. I think Baker Mayfield. Actually, I don't know. I got to see if Baker Mayfield's ribs are healthy. I'm going 28-27. If Baker Mayfield's ribs are not healthy, I think it wouldn't be shocking if the Eagles won this game. So I think it really, really depends on his health. And I don't know, definitively, I'm gonna say that Baker Mayfield's healthy in this game, and they win 28-27. If Baker Mayfield's not healthy, I think the Eagles could win this game like 20-17. But I'm gonna go with the fact Baker's healthy, and I'm gonna take them 28-27 because I like how they've been playing towards the end of the season. Mike Evans, they got weapons. They can still run the ball a little bit. These guys love playing for Baker Mayfield. I actually haven't heard a quarterback spoken about as well as I have Baker Mayfield this season. They love playing for him. It was shocking, and they had a better record this year. Say what you want, they had a better record this year with Baker Mayfield than they did last year with Tom Brady. Baker Mayfield actually
Yeah.
statistically outperformed Tom Brady, so this guy deserves a contract extension, in my opinion. He deserves everything coming his way. He's been absolutely tremendous. I think he should be in the comeback player of the year discussion. Absolutely would be ridiculous. Why not? And just credit to that organization for staying strong with Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield and winning that NFC South. Because I mean, the New Orleans Saints still finished 9-8, so they did have to beat them earlier in the year. But credit to them for winning the game when it mattered. I didn't love how they played versus Carolina. Carolina does have a good defense for a team that's 2-15. So, but they did win the game
Mm-hmm.
they had to win, unlike Jacksonville who lost. So
Yeah, Trevor
they did
Lawrence
what Jacksonville.
really looked
They
bad.
did what
That's probably his
Jacksonville.
worst game
They
in
did
the
what
NFL.
Jacksonville couldn't do. So they won the game, and that's what you got to do in the NFL, and that should inspire confidence. So, kind of like reluctantly, I'm taking Tampa Bay 28-27 in this game, but it really all depends on Baker Mayfield's health.
Yeah, I think even though Baker Mayfield's banged up, I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense will put on a show against the Eagles defense that at one point this team was 10-1, ending 11-6 in pure shame, and losing to the Giants and losing to the Cardinals with two games you needed to secure the division. You weren't able to do that, and you were outplayed with most of your starters, and you're playing a Buccaneers team that is nothing but hot right now, winning 4 of their last 5. And obviously, Mike Evans has been playing much better lately. Chris Godwin's been great. Rashid White has been a solid running back for this team. I think they're going to be too much to handle for the Eagles defense, especially their secondary, even though they tried to fix it before the trade deadline. It was not working. Apparently, this team is upset with Nick Sirianni right now. And I've actually looked into Philadelphia media, listening to some of their shows, and they want him gone. So it would be some poetic justice if the Buccaneers just put on a beat down. And I think they'll easily cover. They'll easily get that +3. Wouldn't be surprised even more. And the Eagles' miserable season will end in a tragic loss to the
For
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
for this game, it's really about which Eagles team show up. Is this going to be the team that lost to the Giants and the Cardinals late in the season, or is this going to be the team that started off 10-1 that had great victories versus Buffalo? Is this going to be that team? It depends which Eagles team shows up, because when the Eagles are healthy, when the Eagles are firing, they're probably one of the best teams in the league. They have a proven formula to win. All they do is win games, so it really depends. You know,
Yeah, I don't think that Eagles team is there anymore.
I
And
I do not, but I mean, teams in the NFL have been known to flip a switch.
that's true, and they'll definitely have to do it on Monday night. But I just see the Buccaneers running away with it. And let us hope that's the case. That would
This
be
this is an
ideal.
Eagles team that once beat the Chiefs. This is an Eagles team that beat the Bills. I mean, they've been battle tested this year, so it's like I said, it really depends which team is going to show up.
That's absolutely. And should be a lot of fun to see. But that actually will wrap this up. We have gone through our matchups, Hayden. And yeah, let us continue this road to some quality content as we cover the NFL postseason with you on productive conversations. But that'll wrap that up. I appreciate you, Hayden, as always. And I'll see you next week to discuss the divisional round.
Next week. All right.
Peace.
Bye-bye.